Have you heard about the School of the Prophets? And no, it's not a school only for prophets or a school where people could go to become prophets. Because, well, that's not how prophets are called. But it's a school that the Lord instructed Joseph Smith to start in 1832. You can find this instruction from the Lord in Doctrine and Covenants section 88, verses 77 through 80. So Joseph Smith established the School of the Prophets, and the first class was held in the New K. Whitney store upstairs in February of 1833. Now, this was in Kirtland, Ohio, but in Missouri, Parley P. Pratt was in charge of conducting the School of the Prophets over there. Now, these courses would go on each winter from 1833 to 1836. So what was the School of the Prophets and what did they teach? Well, let's jump into it. The School of the Prophets was essentially kind of like an MTC. This was a place where elders would go to receive education and preparation for their missions. And some sisters would also attend. But unlike the MTC, they received secular and spiritual education here. Now let's go to section 88, verses 77 through 80, where the Lord actually gives an instruction on what they should teach in the School of the Prophets. Verse 77 says, "And I give unto you a commandment, that you shall teach one another the doctrine of the kingdom." 78, "Teach ye diligently, and my grace shall attend you, that you may be instructed more perfectly in theory, in principle, in doctrine, in the law of the gospel, in all things that pertain unto the kingdom of God, that are expedient for you to understand." And then in 79, he continues saying, "And of things both in heaven and in the earth and under the earth, things which have been," history, "things which are," current events, "things which must shortly come to pass, and things which are at home, things which are abroad, the wars and the perplexities of the nations, and the judgments which are on the land, and a knowledge also of other countries and kingdoms." And then later in this section, in verse 118, the Lord also instructs him and says, "Seek ye out of the best books words of wisdom. Seek learning even by study, and also by faith." So the Lord is clearly instructing them to study not just the gospel, but secular things, right? History, current events, and other stuff that could be useful to them. Study and learn out of the best books, the Lord said, both religious and secular. And that's exactly what they did. So in the School of the Prophets, they were instructed and taught each other history, current events, reading, writing, math, language studies like Hebrew, and much more. This was a great source of education for the elders of the church, including Joseph Smith. And fun fact, the word of wisdom was actually received in the School of the Prophets. And that is also where he taught the lectures on faith, which used to be part of the Doctrine and Covenants. Now, if you want to learn more about the lectures on faith, I have a video on my channel where I explain more about it. And although we don't have a School of the Prophets now, our seminaries, institutes, MTCs, and schools carry on its legacy today.